Hi, friends and fellow Earth Angels. It's Gladys, and welcome to my first new moon pick a card reading. I've been wanting to do these moon readings for a long time now. If you've been following my channel, I've talked about how I've been taking this moonology course and really sitting with how I can incorporate all the magic and the fun that I'm experiencing taking this course into being able to share it with you. So what better time than to start this new reading style with the new moon in Aries. So the new moon in Aries is the first, it's the beginning, it's the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And it is the beginning of our new lunar cycle. And as you can see right here, the moonology message for new moon in Aries, it's time to take action. So I would also like to incorporate a full moon pick a card reading. I just don't know how long they're going to be, and I don't know how it's going to unfold. So I hope you're delighted. I hope that these readings are fun and magical and supportive, and of course I'm always open to your feedback if you want to put comments in the description box below. And of course there are the sirens. And so new moon in Aries. So new moon in Aries here in April 2021 will be on April 11th or April 12th, depending on where you are in the world. So the new moon is a time to put your wishes and your intentions out to the universe. When I think about the new moon, I think of the dandelion, where you blow on it's not a flower. You blow on the well, it's considered a weed, but it depends on how you look at it, where you blow on it and then the wishes go out to the universe. So that's what I always see when I sit down and I channel and do my own personal new moon reading, and I set intentions out to the universe. So I'm going to share with you some of the wisdom that I've learned. The new moon in Aries, we talked about being the first sign of the zodiac, and this is a time to think about what you want to manifest or make a plan for the coming 12 months, and just get determined about moving towards and taking action towards your goals or your visions. And the goal doesn't have to be a thing, like maybe it's a relationship or a certain amount of money or a specific job. A goal can be feeling happier, feeling more at peace, feeling stable and secure. It could be working on or working towards strengthening your own foundations. So there's just such a broad spectrum of what we can put out there into the universe. The new moon in Aries comes in the midst of spring, and spring is about the new shoots coming up from the ground, or the new experiences unfolding in life. Mars rules Aries, and Aries is about determination and courage. And so I pray that you can really tap into the power of this energy. Aries is a fire sign, right? And the passion of the energy. Aries is associated also too with the inner child. So commit to having more fun during these next couple weeks. Sometimes, the suggestions are get a makeover, think about yourself as opposed to others, get in touch with your own needs, and then factor in those needs in the 12-month plan. So those are my little thoughts on the Aries new moon. And so the cards I'm going to be using, I'm kind of stick to this theme or this type of spread every new moon, just to kind of keep it consistent. So I'm going to start with a goddess, and I'm going to pull 3 different goddesses, and you can choose from which goddess you feel the pull towards. And then I'm going to get into Soulful Woman and go into an additional message from the goddess. And then I'm going to pull from the Moonology, which is moon medicine. So what the moon medicine that you're receiving or support in this new moon in Aries. And then I'm going to pull from Queen of the Moon Oracle. And this card will represent what the moon, Aries new moon, is gifting you. And then I will finish with Divine Abundance card. This is like an overall message, really to kind of, I feel like this will be like a message of like miracle grow. It will just be like an overall theme for you for the next 2 weeks. All right, so let's begin. Let me open up space, inviting in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist, specifically tapping into the goddess energy, the new moon in Aries energy. I'm going to ask that the messages that are channeled be for your best and highest good and the best and highest good of all concerned. So I feel like it's really important to show how the cards are coming out. But if you're not interested in watching me pick the piles, you can skip ahead. I'm going to put the timestamps for each in the notes below. All right, goddesses, I'm going to pull 3 and then we will reveal them and then I'll go into pulling the rest of the piles. So, Goddess 1, what is the first goddess? And Goddess of pile 2. And Goddess of pile 3. Okay, let's see here. So, the piles are going to be, oh, Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. It says, love yourself, others, in every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. So that will be pile 1. Pile 2 is Sarasvati, which is the arts. Express yourself through creative activity. So this could be about self-love. This could be right off the bat about your creativity, taking action if you have had projects or things that you've wanted to work towards. And then pile 3, oh, Isis, fantastic. So this is about past life. This situation involves your past life memory. So this could be about taking action, about making changes. Maybe you have attachments, or maybe you have cords, or maybe there's fears that you want to move through this Aries new moon, that you want to set intentions of moving through life in a new way, and maybe you have some attachments, or maybe you have some energy on a situation, an experience, a person that you want to release. So this could be support for that. Now that's just a general basic reading. Until I get into the rest of the cards, I'm not going to know. So these are the 3 piles. So once again, if you're not interested in watching how the cards come out, if you already know what pile you'd like, I encourage you to go into the notes below and just hit the timestamp. All right, so I'm going to finish the piles here. Mother Mary, what additional message do you have? Okay, and Sarasvati, what additional message do you have? All right, so there's that one. And Isis, Egyptian moon goddess. Of course, she's come out, right? What additional message do you have? Whoa, all right. So there's that one. And then moon medicine. What moon medicine can be very healing for pile 1, Mother Mary, unconditional love. I'm going to pull this one. Moon medicine for Sarasvati. Whoa. 2. And moon message for medicine for Isis pile. And what are you being gifted with? What's the gift that you're receiving for pile 1? And pile 2, moon medicine. I mean, not moon medicine, cancel, clear, delete. What is pile 2 being gifted with this new moon in Aries? And pile 3, Isis. What is those who chose pile 3 being gifted with this new moon in Aries? And overall message of abundance. What is to come? Overall message of abundance for pile 1. Whoa. Okay, so hold on. There's 3 here, and I'm just going to take all 3. And overall message for pile 2. Overall, let's go. So we'll take these 2. And pile 3, Isis. All right. Okay, so these are the piles. Once again, pile 1, Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Love yourself, others, in every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. Pile 2, Sarasvati, the arts. Express yourself through creative activities. And pile 3, Isis, past life. The situation involves your past life memories. Now, as we know, of course you can listen to all 3. You might feel the inspirational pull towards two different piles. And I encourage you to just follow your heart. You can come back after a week or so, and maybe you'll get a heart pull to another message. So I encourage you to receive the message, the wisdom, the guidance in a way that's right and comfortable for you. Of course, taking in what resonates and leaving the rest for someone else. So let me... Okay, so for those of you who chose pile 1, welcome. And we have Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Love yourself, others, in every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. So with the Aries new moon here, and for foreseeing your next 12 months, if you're challenged with insecurities, if you're challenged with lack of confidence or self-esteem, this new moon in Aries can be a powerful time for you to work with the energy to become aware or reveal or dig into the beauty and the essence of who you are. You know, we talk about these wounds, we talk about the inner child stuff, we talk about the spiritual journey, and it's very common for earth angels to have challenges in childhood. You know, we talk about addictions being a common theme, or lack of love being a theme, or old beliefs, old ways of doing things, programming that were impressed upon our minds, our hearts, and our spirits when we were younger, right? And again, it's just, you know, anybody who took care of you, teachers, caregivers, your parents, you know, we need to know that, you know, everybody is doing their best. And I say this so often, you don't know until you know. And then when you know, you do better. So those of you who chose this pile, remember that Mary Magdalene is supporting you. Mary Magdalene is a representation of the divine feminine essence. So this 12-month, if you've been working through the wounded masculine, the wounded feminine, and you're now coming back from, I've been talking a lot on my channel about doing something to get something and how we're out of alignment, and we're now activating our divine feminine essence. Remember, we all have that energy within us, and we're now getting into a place where we're using this divine feminine energy. We're exploring it. We're learning about it. We're learning how to be magnetic. We're learning how to be receptive. We're learning how to create love and beauty in the world with our feminine essence. And we're also learning how to feel the flow of love. So if love is something that you want to experience on deeper levels, Mary Magdalene is a perfect goddess to support you in that. So her additional message for you is, savoring the positive. So perfect. Card number 37, 3 + 7 = 10, right? 10 is new beginnings. So the message says, I allow myself the spaciousness of savoring the delicious gifts in my life. So sometimes when we can focus, sometimes if we focus too much on that which is going wrong, the time that it's going to take for something to come. If you've been putting energy towards something for a long time and you're still feeling the void, I feel like Mary Magdalene here is reminding you to bring yourself back to the present moment, right? That's very divine feminine, is the present moment. I am teaching a course right now for a private organization called The Gift of the Present Moment, and we're talking about this divine feminine essence, and we're talking about pause and stillness and nothingness and surrendering, all these beautiful feminine words, and opening up to receiving the magic and the miracles that the universe wants to gift to us. So a way you can start opening up to that magical divine feminine empowerment is savoring the gift of the present moment, and what is in your life, right? Those moments of peace, those moments of joy, those moments of laughter, those moments of play, those moments of adventure. And you know me, if you've been following this channel, I always like to say, when you're experiencing that, affirm more of this or something even better. I'm just feeling the message of reminding you as you go forward with these new moons is getting into your feeling body. That is the power behind manifesting and creating with the divine, right? As a divine feminine, if you're a dominant divine feminine energy, your intuition is in your heart and your physical body. If you're a masculine dominant person, your intuition is in your gut instincts and your mind. It's so powerful, right? So you can channel the divine through those spaces. And when you say more of this or something even better, you're giving the universe from an open heart and a place of conviction and empowerment and courage, and saying, this is what feels good. And remember, when you take in light and you have more, and you're aligning with purpose and passion, and you're aligning with the gifts of life, remember, it's like a dance. The shadow stuff, the insecurities, the worries, the fears, the areas that we need to strengthen, those come up as challenges in our lives, right? That needs to come up and out. So the more you're on this journey and the more you're expanding in light, the more the ego now wants to show you the work that needs to be done. So remember, there is no end result with this spiritual journey. It's not about the end result and getting somewhere, right? If you think about the old traditional ways, people worked and they worked and they worked an hourly or salary job to get paid and then eventually retire. The new way, the new entrepreneurial energy, the new way of being with the Earth Angels is co-creating retirement with purpose and creating abundance and wealth now, right? And not waiting for the end result, not waiting for at 65 retiring. The generations now after me are now becoming more active and more excited about creating their own lives, right? And their own sources of income with their divine gifts. This is kind of the new way of making money, creating love and beauty in the world through your unique gifts. And again, if we're in this place of lack of self-esteem or confidence, or if you haven't embraced your sensitivity and your self-expression and your trust and your openness and your vision and your acceptance and all the fun things that we've come here to learn about, this new moon in Aries can assist you, right? So I want to feel more courageous. I want to feel more empowered. I want to feel more loved, right? And maybe you can go online and find an affirmation that you can say the next couple weeks that help you feel good in your body. I'm also feeling Angel Ariel here. Angel Ariel is the angel of courage. She's also the angel of bravery and strength. You'll know she's around because she sends bunnies. So just the other day I saw a bunny hop along. I was taking my dog out. It was late at night and I heard some noises, and it was a nice bunny that ran across my path, and I just kind of nodded and thanked Ariel for showing up for me, because I needed to do something that was courageous for me, and I felt like the medicine was just coming along, congratulating me with leaning into those fears and finding the courage of the experience that I had. So know that Ariel is also there with you if you start seeing the bunnies come up, and she's gifting you the energy of empowerment and confidence and the ability to express yourself, meaning this is who I am, this is what I'm here for. Move out of my way, people. All right, so the moon medicine is interesting. Your commitment is being tested, right? First quarter moon. So listen, this is what we talked about with challenges, right? So when we bring in more light and we get a hit, or we get we're envisioning how we want to feel, and we're getting this, our hearts are opening. Understand that there are forces within us, right? There are forces that, or there's this wounded part of the ego, right? That doesn't want us to be powerful and successful and achieve. And it's all unconscious. It's all in the subconscious. That stuff needs to come up. Any roadblocks or anything, self-sabotaging thoughts, or any people that may not have your best interests at heart, and it happens. I mean, we're all human, right? Will come up now during this new moon in Aries. So your commitment is being tested. I've been doing this work for 13 years, friends. And I remember in 2010, I was just having such a hard time with money. I was not in the healthiest of relationships. And I remembered this financial experience that came up, and I was questioning if this work that I'm doing, it was what I was supposed to be doing. And I had an office at the time that was very big, and it was very expensive, and there was a lot going on, and I had no idea what I was doing in business. And I just wanted to give up. I quit. I quit on God. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm so tired of this. I'm not living this way anymore. And I quit on God. And this was a Saturday, I remember, because something happened with my bank account and the bank was closed, and I wasn't going to be able to deal with it until Monday. And so this was a Saturday, and I quit on God. God. He's so funny. And so Sunday, the day after, I remember I had a trip planned to the beach with my mom, and we were driving home from the beach, and my phone kept ringing, and she's like, "Who's trying to call you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know the number, so it's probably clients calling to book appointments." This is before I had my online scheduler. And I told her, I'm like, I'm laughing because I quit on God yesterday. And she's like, why? And I said, I told him I quit because I see God as my boss, right? And I was like, I just quit. I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. It's not fun. And I said, I'm laughing because, of course, God is sending people to me to book appointments because he's telling me that I'm not allowed to quit. I can't quit. And I've got a big mission. And then we pulled up to this car at this red light. And I kid you not, friends, the license plate said, it had the letters GODCZU. And I just looked at it and it said, the interpretation was God sees you. And we both looked at each other like we were like freaked. It was like this crazy miracle that just happened. And in that moment, I surrendered. I'm like, all right, God, you've got to make it happen. You've got to show me there's a pathway. And of course, I called the bank Monday and everything was fine. And, things were reversed and it was just a fluke thing. And it was in that moment that I declared, this is my work. This is my journey and I'm not going anywhere. So here I am, another 11 years later, still doing this work. So understand that even when you know what your purpose is, even when you know where you're going, even if you feel it in your heart, there will be hiccups and bumps, right? The challenges are what's making you stronger. And I needed to have those experiences to work with the world and the energy that's now here we have in 2020 and 2021. So I feel like knowing that, even when you're on your course and you've worked through this stuff, your commitment is being tested. Do you really want this? Do you really believe? Do you really trust? And I don't believe it's God testing us. I believe it's the ego deaths, right? I believe it's the subconscious programs that we receive from our education system, from old belief systems. And that is breaking down in massive, massive ways here as we have entered into the age of Aquarius and a 5-year in 2021 and taking action. So have patience with yourself, friends. Feel all the feelings, knowing that change and all the stuff, the feelings that come along with it is normal. And it's giving you an opportunity to sit with it and become really strong, which is why probably Angel Ariel came up to support you. So what is being gifted to you this, I love it, creation? It's the beaver moon. So you're receiving the gift of creation. Let's see here. So I feel like you're creating a new way for yourself. You're creating a new life. I love this right here, right? So she's got the moon in her third eye. Those of you who chose pile 1, it would be really great if you really started to practice working with the moon cycles and the moon energies. I've been doing it for about a year now, and I'll tell you, it is powerful. My menstrual cycle is synced with the moon, and I'm very conscious of the growth and expansion of the moon and the moon shrinking. And it would be really powerful for you to get into if you are creating, manifesting, and putting your wishes out into the world. I feel like this right here, savoring the gift of the present moment, having positive intentions, loving yourself deeply, moving through challenges in a courageous way. I feel like you're going to be gifted with ideas and inspiration that's magical. Everything that's come into my life that has stuck has come out of nowhere. All these experiences that I've had have been not what I expected at all, right? When I think something's going to be a certain way or it needs to be a certain way, haha, the joke's on me, right? That's where my commitment is being tested. Am I willing to surrender what I know, to step into the abyss of the unknown and uncertainty? And when I do, magic happens and new things are created from that power of love. So, all right, so the overall messages, so there's 3 here. So the overall messages for you for this new moon in Aries. we have sacrifice, right? So what are you willing to release? What are you willing to say, it needs to be this way, or it has to, or I know it's got to be or unfold this way? How can you surrender that? Because sometimes surrender is painful, right? Surrendering the way you thought things should be, or the way you thought your life was going to unfold, right? That's powerful this year, and being able to release and surrender into what is. It says God's cutting away all that needs to go: illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. So understand, you might get some clarity this new moon in Aries as you set intentions out into the ethers of what you want to create for yourself. And you might then see like where your attention has been and how you can expand your reach in other ways. So the next card is limitless. See yourself open to receive in the most miraculous ways. The divine can use anything and anyone. So as you surrender and release what you thought was the pathway, how you maybe felt things should be or needed to be, and the suffering and the pain and the grind and the hustle, as you surrender this, you're being reminded that God is infinite. God sees all and abundant, right? So see yourself open to receiving in the most miraculous ways. Receiving is very divine feminine, right? Receiving the blessings. So some of you, if you have a hard time receiving and you're in your giver energy, which is masculine energy all the time, your work right now can be the intention of receiving. Maybe somebody holds a door for you. Maybe somebody offers you a kind word. Maybe somebody offers you love in some way. One of the things I suggest with my clients, my coaching clients, when they're doing their work and we're strengthening their core beliefs on self-esteem, worth, and value, I encourage them to ask the people that they love. I say, ask them what they love about you. And every time I do that, they get like overwhelmed, or, oh my gosh, it's too much, right? That's when you know that you might have a hard time receiving kind words or support or love or guidance in some way, right? And we need to receive from the divine, right? Or else we're going to spend a lot of time in our mental mind trying to plot, plan, figure things out. And we all know that just doesn't end well. So remembering your gift, your overall message is God is limitless. So expand your reach, or be open to receiving the miraculous ways your dreams can come and unfold. And finally, energy clearing. During crises, the Holy One herself may be emptying you of fear and attachments, preparing you to receive her luminous plans. Again, I feel like these cards go together here with energy clearing. You know, you've got some work here. Kali, Goddess Kali, this is Kali, of course it is. Goddess Kali is the great mother, right? She is connected with Shakti energy. She's considered the great mother. She is the slayer of evil forces and the protector of the innocent. And so when she comes into your life, she can come in powerfully strong in what she does. The interpretation is like she takes off the rose-colored glasses. So this new moon in Aries may be, as you put your wishes out and your energy out into the ethers, what may come is like the harsh truth of how we may be skirting around, self-sabotaging, avoiding, not wanting to see, right? But you have to understand she comes to you in a place of love. And so asking her to clear out and go ahead of you to clear out anything that's blocking you to receive unconditional love on deeper levels, and activating that creatrix energy within you. All right, so those of you who chose pile 1, thank you so much for watching. And if you liked this reading, it would be really great if you could like the video, or if you want to share how it touched you in the comments below, that would be great too. And then of course, if you like these readings, my plan is to do it every single month. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when a new one is going to be released. All right, so thank you for watching, and if you're finishing your reading here, I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now. Okay, so for those of you who chose pile 2, Sarasvati, the arts, welcome. Her message once again says, express yourself through creative activities. So let me see here. I just want to tap into her energy here so you can get a better idea of who she is. She's a Hindu goddess of the arts. She helps us with all creative expression, such as music, dance, writing, and eloquent speaking. Her symbol includes a white swan, the vina, or the musical instrument, and a book of knowledge. She helps us focus our minds on our creative projects and not get distracted or procrastinate. So new moon in Aries, if there's a project, or if you've been like writing down ideas, or there's something magical that you wanted to put out into the ethers, here is your sign, and Sarasvati is here to support you with the plan and taking a step-by-step process to achieve your goals. So this new moon in Aries, whether April 11th or 12th, where you are in the world, sitting with the new moon energy and really envisioning how you'll feel when you've put this project or this idea out into the world, really being able to feel the fullness of the support. And, let's say if it's a book, or if it's a class, or if it's a new product, or even if it's a new home that you want to create for yourself, or a new relationship that you want to create for yourself, there's so much, right? Or just a healthy body. Go into that space of what it would feel like. Or if it's really hard to get to that space, open up your heart and ask the divine, ask God, source, creator himself, to show you his definition of what it feels like to be in this experience, and for it to be in your life. And then, I always suggest like a prayer or a blessing or an affirmation that comes from I deserve, right? Sometimes, like, let's say if you want to create a project, and we can focus on the details of it, right? The planning of it. Sometimes if you go into that space of I deserve a career, or I deserve support in ABC, or I'm worthy and deserving of receiving the opportunities to assist me in this dream unfolding, or I'm open to receiving, I'm worthy and deserving of blah, blah, blah. Instead of bring me this, bring me that, being in our mind and basing it on what we think and how we think things should be. So I feel like for those of you who chose pile 2, get into your feeling body this new moon in Aries, and just open space to feeling your way through this experience. All right, let me see. Additional message here. Oh, follow my truth. The message here says, believing in and following my inner truth helps me live an authentic and empowered life, right? So maybe you've had somebody in your life kind of poo-poo your idea, or maybe, you've been talking to people who don't understand your vision. Maybe you are are challenged with your own doubts, with your own worries and fears, and you can call on Sarasvati to assist you to clear away those doubts or those worries or fears. Following your truth is, again, dropping down into your physical body and remembering that you are a divine being of light. You are a child of God. You are a creatrix in this world, right? And I talk so often about connecting with God and following the lead, right? Following the leads that come up. Never in a million years did I ever think this is the work that I would be doing. And it's just all unfolded naturally by me following the leads and moving through challenges. And really, this journey is about getting to know ourselves on deeper levels, right? So we do that through working with clients, creating projects, being a caregiver in the world, a miracle worker, loving God's people, being in service of others. We learn about ourselves through those experiences. So following your truth and maybe kind of keeping those things held sacred, from people who may not understand you or may not see the vision because of their own worries and fears or their own failures or their own difficulties. I mean, we have to believe, of course, that everybody has our best interest at heart. But you have to understand, following the wisdom of the heart with God is irrational and it doesn't make sense. I started my business in 2007. It was like October of 2007, which was considered one of the worst times because we were going through an economic crash. In 2008, people were losing their jobs and their homes and their identity. And what I didn't know at the time is that so many people were looking for spiritual support and guidance. So for me, it was the perfect time for me to start. But in the business world and starting something up like that wasn't as open and received as it is now was insanity. So follow your truth. Let me see here. I'm noticing the owl. So the owl here, the medicine of the owl is the owl is nocturnal. It works, I feel, always with the crown chakra, and the owl has the ability to see the unseen. So if you're into animal medicine, the owl would be great for you to tap into that medicine. So you might not be able to see with your eyes physically how things unfold, and you're looking at the world of illusions, right, and roadblocks. And I feel like Sarasvati is reminding you to go into your truth, go into your heart, go into that divine feminine wisdom within and follow the leads that unfold. And I just feel like I want to say, stay out of your head, which is a feat in of itself. So the moon medicine or the guidance for you, this new moon in Aries is, wow, a personal issue reaches resolution. I'm noticing the blues here. This kind of reminds me of the throat chakra and full moon in Cancer. So full moon in Cancer is emotional energy. So I feel like this is maybe you've gone through an emotional experience, or maybe you've been working on your own journey and your own healing through different healing modalities and therapies and such. And, you're going to be able to take that experience and share it with the world. So many times I say the new way of creating money in the world and financial support is through our stories, our past, right? Clients connect with me because I can understand or relate to where they're coming from spiritually and with relationships and jobs, right? Those were my challenges that I've learned to work towards and overcome. So law of attraction just naturally brings me those clients who are awakening on their spiritual journeys, or wanting to transfer or transition out of a corporate position into what their calling of their heart is. And so I feel like this new moon in Aries is going to assist you with the emotional stuff that comes up, or the personal stuff that comes up, and assist you with being able to transition or transform your pain into your power. That is incredible. I absolutely love that. I love that message. All right, so what is being gifted to you this new moon in Aries? Self-reflection, right? So here's the emotional energy again. So we have card number 17 here, which equals 8. 8 is an abundance number, but 8 also connects with cycles and rhythms and patterns. And so this new moon in Aries, as you set your intentions for, maybe it's financial freedom, maybe it through being able to express yourself, or create through your creative endeavors. Maybe there are some hidden blocks or insecurities that you're not privy to yet. And so maybe that will come up through this course of this month as we go into the new moon in Aries, and we go into the full moon in a couple weeks. So be willing to check in with yourself and ask yourself, what does your own heart want? So the work that I do, every time I took a class, every time I took a certification, even the Moonology course that I'm taking right now, I took it for me. Everything that I've done, I've took it for me, for my own personal development. And then it became being in service of others with it. So I learn and I evolve and I grow, and then it becomes something. If we're doing something to get something, like I'm going to take this course because I can get money from it, it really kind of twists or skews the energy into it, because what happens is we put expectations on something outside of us, a course, an opportunity, something, and it really kind of puts expectations and judgments on the way we think we want it to be, or the way it should be. And then when it's not that, we get disappointed. So how can you reflect? How can you go in and use the new moon in Aries to bring up any personal challenges? How can you become aware of the patterns and rhythms and cycles as you're putting your wishes out to the universe, feeling like a whole and complete, empowered, masculine or feminine energy? I love to hear how they are holding hands here. It's kind of representing the shadow and the light. Right? We have our shadow side, which is, our wounds and the unseen. And then we have our light, which is our radiance and our laughter and our play and our adventure. And so I believe if you've been working on your own spiritual journey and your own inner work, those paths are about to align. Your soul mission and your spiritual journey are about to align and come into sync together. So for example, with that, prior to me working in this field, I was a paralegal, and I worked for a law firm in Providence that was doing real estate. And I considered that my soul mission, the work I was doing in service of others. And separately, I was taking classes, I was taking certifications on intuition and energy therapies and healing modalities, and taking courses. And then when the paralegal position was getting more difficult, and of course it was in real estate, which was tanking at that time, it was really painful and really uncomfortable, and I didn't want to work in that environment anymore. And so what happened is I set intentions to create a way out to be able to financially support myself in different ways. So I started going online, and I started to apply for different kinds of jobs, and then eventually, after I set that intention that I want to be out of here, 5 months later, I was let go from that job. And at that time, I still didn't know what I was going to do. I still didn't believe that I could create a career in this field. And I just sat with it for a couple weeks. And I had a friend who, she was seeing an acupuncturist at the time. And she said that she called me up and said her acupuncturist, she kind of knew what I was going through. She said her acupuncturist was looking to expand her wellness center and was looking for an energy therapy practitioner and somebody to do intuitive work. And so there it was. 2 weeks after I got let go, I started this position and I just kind of followed the leads, right? They kind of came into my life as opposed to me hunting, right? So this is that part of us creating space, right? As soon as I declared, okay, I'm going to do this, everything started to unfold naturally. So, and in this journey, these 13 years has been all about self-reflection. How can I be of service? And so what happens is now my soul mission and my spiritual journey has aligned in one path. I do the inner work for myself, and then with what I've learned, I share it, and that's how I'm of service to others on my soul mission. And this is the dance that so many earth angels are learning to get into. We're using what we've learned, these cycles, these rhythms, these patterns, and then being able to share it with others. And I just think that's just such a definition of a powerful, magnetic, beautiful teacher, right? We're stepping into empowering others with this new energy that we're sharing into the world. So I love how this is all unfolding here. And then the overall theme, the overall messages for you, I love it. Love. Divine source is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation, only love itself. It's so interesting. This happens with me with my pick a card readings, and I haven't done the third one yet, but this seems to be like an extension of the first reading. So if you weren't sure between 1 and 2, you may want to go back and watch the first one. And, it just seems to happen the way I do these pick a card readings, that in some way they all go in sync. I've struggled with love, self-love, and loving others, and romantic partnerships. It's been like quite a journey for me, and there's been a lot of pain on this journey and a lot of joy on this journey. And so one of the quotes that I really touched my heart, that really filled me up, that when I struggle with self-love or I struggle with partnerships and relationships in my life, I'm reminded of this quote by Rumi. And it is, and the quote is, "I opened my arms to love, and love embraced me like a lover." And so I realized in that moment that I was looking for love outside of myself. And I was just continuing to attract the wounded parts of me in friends and experiences and opportunities and romantic partnerships. And it really hit me. And so once I surrendered to needing external love, I really dug into experiencing and having this romance with love itself, meaning I could just sit on my couch and experience the fullness of love and be lit up and feel whole and complete and empowered just in that moment without me having to be anything or do anything or have anything. And it was so transformational for me. It was really work that I did last year in 2020 in quarantine. I had to kind of surrender into being single and isolated in quarantine. And I can tell you, friends, my life has transformed in magical, magical ways since then. So, love is the beginning of it all. When we're in love with life, when we're in love with who we are, our life purpose, our soul mission, unfolds so much naturally and easily. It just kind of aligns and comes to us. So I loved this card coming out. Divine source is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation, only love itself. So once again, that quote is, "I opened my arms to love, and love embraced me like a lover. For me, I just feel like this beautiful energy coming behind me and just giving me a big giant hug. God himself, divine providence, the divine mother, the essence of all that is. And that's when you realize you're so much more than the hats that you're wearing. You're so much more than, the job that you have, the hats that you're wearing. You're so much more than sister, brother, daughter, father, friend, co-worker. Those are just hats you're wearing. So maybe this new moon in Aries, get in touch with the expansiveness of who you are outside of those roles and those hats, right? And like I said, wealth and abundance and experiences come in so much more naturally in such an empowered way. And then the final message here is, I love it. And that all being said, you get into divine flow. So is eventually one sublime desire takes precedence over all others, to follow the Tao, the divine flow at all costs, right? So this is that part of surrendering into what is, that you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. So if you're struggling with money and work and putting your creative ideas out into the world, or what your purpose is, I feel like, as you dig deeper into yourself and your emotions, and you follow your heart and your truth and the demands and the leads and the doors that are opening, you step into flow and your life unfolds naturally like a beautiful flower. I am seeing like the lotus flower here, right? The lotus's roots are in the mud, and when the sun shines, the lotus opens up gorgeous, and it's clean and it's pure, despite its roots in the mud, right? And then when the sun goes down, they close up, right? And kind of contain. So right now with the Aries new moon, the sun is shining, friends. You're opening up. So maybe working on some heart chakra work, doing some heart chakra work, putting energy out into the universe to love on deeper levels. You can even ask Creator to download you with his definition of love. It's no coincidence that Mary Magdalene came out in the first reading of Unconditional Love here, right? So I just love how they're all unfolding naturally together. All right, friends. So thank you so much for watching, those of you who chose pile 2. If you are finishing this reading here and you liked this reading or it resonated with you, feel free to put a comment in the comment boxes below. If you like this video, let me know. And if you're interested in more of this, definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell. My intention is to do a new moon reading, pick a card reading every month. So thank you so much for watching. If you're ending your reading here, I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now. And those of you who chose pile 3, welcome. So we have Isis. Isis is an Egyptian moon goddess, and her message here is about past life. This situation involves your past life memories. So let me just go in. Hold on, let me just get a little sip here. Let me go into a little more about Isis. So she's this Egyptian high priestess moon goddess, regarded as one of the most important ancient deities because of her many functions and her vivid history. So she'd be a phenomenal goddess to work with this new moon in Aries. Isis is also known as the goddess of divine magic and alchemy, and you can call upon her for assistance in many areas, including help with past life memories. You know, friends, I just absolutely love how these piles are unfolding. So they are kind of all in sync in one form or another. So if you're watching this pile and you had any pull to the other two piles, I would encourage you to follow your heart on that, because there could be more messages there for you. So when we start this Aries new moon, it's about the new lunar cycle, and we're setting intentions for the next 12 months and how we want to feel, what we're worthy and deserving of. And when you expand in light, when you're receiving higher levels of light and you're evolving and growing spiritually on your journey, anything that's not a vibrational match to where you're going needs to be cleared out, right? So we need to have these challenges in life. We need to have these unpleasant feelings and emotions to get more clarity. If you can kind of see them as like a navigator, and the universe just kind of reminding you where the work needs to be done, right? It's a journey, right? It's not about the end result, because earth angels, you know, if you're a true earth angel, our journey is in our curiosity, our adventure, our play, right? And it's only when we get kind of stuck in the mind that this journey seems daunting and painful and confusing. If we can really open up to knowing that we are divinely guided, and if you were going to be anywhere else in your life or having any other experiences in your life, you would be, right? Now, we can certainly get stuck in a rut. We can certainly, know that it's time to leave certain situations or transition from them, but be scared and stay in them for longer periods of time, right? That's our free will. I was in situations and experiences that ended way before it actually ended, and I kind of look back at those experiences and what I felt. And so if I feel like it's time to transition and stuff, it feels familiar to me, so I can really just kind of ride that wave and trusting the divine has a plan. And, I remind myself there's always a reason, a season, and, certain things that come into our lives for a lifetime, right? And so sometimes, especially with this pile number 3, if you're looking at the next 12 months and you're like, okay, I looked at the past 12 months and I'm so ready to get rid of blah blah blah, or I'm so ready to release, or I'm just so tired of, if you can look at those experiences and saying, okay, what did I learn from them? How have I grown from them? If you can really set those intentions to have different experiences and release the expectations of the way we wanted things to be that maybe necessarily didn't work out. So let me just get into more of the reading here before I say any more. So Isis's message, enlightenment power. It says, I am a woman choosing the power of my own consciousness as a vehicle for my personal growth. Wow. A lot of lotus flower energy. I noticed that in the pile number 2 as well. Remember that the lotus flower's roots are in the mud. And when the sun shines, the lotus flower opens up. And then when the sun starts to set, the lotus flower closes up and goes into the mud, right? So it comes up and out with the sun and opens up clean and pure. So you understand right now, as you start this new lunar cycle, it's like the sun is coming out. New moon in Aries is in spring energy. The shoots are coming up from the ground. So imagine yourself, those of you who chose pile 3, it's like the morning in your life, and the sun is starting to come up and you're starting to stretch and reach towards the sunshine. So I want to encourage you, if you've been challenged or you're having a difficult time and you chose pile 3, that you could be having experiences and be clearing out your some past life stuff. But not always do you really need to know. All you have to do is, I've said this prayer in my some of my recordings. I surrender this burden to the Christ within and I go free, right? We don't always have to know. We don't always have to go back, because going forward, it will be revealed to you. So I feel like for some of you, maybe you're stuck, or maybe you're feeling like, you're in the roots and you're so wanting the sunshine so that you can stretch and be lifted out of the mud and open up. So know that you're in this space with this new lunar cycle, like a new dawn is coming, a new lunar cycle, a new year is coming. And at this point, the universe, and especially Isis, wants to encourage you to open up. In your strength, in your power, stepping into your divine feminine energy as a creatrix, right? You could have had past lives where you were persecuted as a healer or a medicine man or woman, or you could have been persecuted for your gifts. You could have been a prophet. You could have been a disciple. You could have been a priest in another life. There's so many experiences from our past lives that we have that can limit us now. So, if you can recognize that everything is an extension on the other, and talk to God, talk to Creator, talk to Isis, and ask her to assist you in clearing away anything that may be holding you back from stepping into your full power. And maybe this Aries new moon, you're like, you know what? I'm so tired of hiding. I'm so tired of, being behind the scenes. This is the year that I'm going to come out and I'm going to shine my light. And I feel like that's what this message is here. Twos seem to come up in people's lives when they're having challenges with doubts and worries and fears. So the two messages is have faith. Everything's going to be okay. And then the 0, I always connect with God. It's an infinite number. It's a never-ending cycle, right? The circle. So I feel like God and the divine is saying here, trust us, have faith that everything is going to be okay. Again, I'm a woman choosing the power of my own consciousness as a vehicle for my growth. So maybe coming back into your own empower, especially if you've been looking outside of yourself for somebody to tell you what to do, how to be, how to act, how to think. You may be in this difficult struggle right now, feeling powerless, and maybe that's why you were guided to pile 3, thinking it was maybe a past life thing. It certainly could have been, but it doesn't mean that you have to go back and dig. All you have to be open to that there's closure there, and how you move forward can heal the past. So the moon medicine, how many cards are here? Okay, so the moon medicine message or guidance for you is, wow, you're very close to achieving your goal, the gibbous moon. I love it. So you're very close to achieving your goal. The gibbous moon is in the phase of it's in the 2 weeks phase of the full moon cycle. It's the full moon to the new moon. And so when we put our wishes out for the new moon, when the full moon comes, it's a time for us to reflect on any unsettled business, any unforgiveness, and release that to the moon. But it's also a time for us to receive our wishes and intentions and the energy we were putting towards and taking action towards during the new moon. So I usually, when I put energy towards something, a wish, an intention, a map, a feeling, in the new moon, when the full moon comes, I release it to the ethers and I say, okay, I'm open to receiving the gifts and the blessings. And then I work on surrender and forgiveness and releasing any unresolved yuckiness, anxiety and stress and confusion and doubt and worries and fears. And I use the new moon to release and I surrender that. But I'm also receptive to the magic and that energy coming in. I'm not working towards it anymore, focusing energy on it. I release it and then I open my heart to receive it. So understand that what you're seeking may come in the phase of the full moon. And the full moon can be a time, it can be an activator where our doubts and our fears come up, where we don't see proof. And then we're like, well, maybe I'm doing it wrong. So I feel like these readings are giving you a map for the entire for the entire month, the full moon and the new moon and the full moon, because it seems like these are readings that can actually, you can utilize the messages in the new moon and the full moon for this month. So again, this is a new reading for me, and I don't know how it's going to unfold. I don't know what the divine plan is, but I'm feeling with the full moon here, that would be a time for maybe to receive your goal. It may not come right away, and so stay positive in that full moon to the new moon and be open and receptive during that time, because you're very close to achieving your goal. Usually when it feels its worst, or it feels like the most challenging, or you're like, that's it, I'm so tired of feeling this way, usually that's where the crows show up in your life, and they remind you that the magic is on its way. So if you're about to give up, or you've had it, surrender the how, when, what if, the have tos and shoulds, or how you thought things were going to be or needed to be. Surrender it to the divine and open your heart to allowing things to unfold naturally. You'd be amazed at how your life unfolds and how things just seem to come out of left field and out of nowhere. It really is a fun journey until it's not. And then when it's not, I always kind of remind myself that it's just a valley and it's temporary and the magic is on its way. So, all right, so let me see here. What's being gifted to you this new moon in Aries is wisdom. I love it. So, gosh, these are so good. These are just so good. If I do say myself, there's the 22 again, right, friends? Have faith. Everything is going to be okay. When we go through challenges are an opportunity for us to dig deeper, to explore our journey, right? So any process we embark on, let's say it's a journey to getting healthier, you've got to show up on a regular basis and get outside and run or walk. Or personally, I use an exercise bike. I got to show up to it every day, and I've got to love it. If I don't love it, I'm not going to do it, and I'm risk injury. So I've got to kind of lean in and embrace what resistance I have to a healthy body or the addictions, and really dig into those challenges and understand myself on a deeper level. So understand these next 12 months, especially with this new moon in Aries, I feel like you're being gifted with wisdom, right? Why things have happened the way they have. And with entrepreneurs and the divine feminine energy, we're transforming our pain into our power, and we're storytellers, and we can relate to people and connect with them because we have similar stories. Of course, it's unrealistic to say that we understand or know exactly what somebody is going through, but there's a lot of similar experiences with earth angels where we can empathize and we can ask ourselves, well, what did I need? I needed somebody to ask me if I was okay. I needed somebody to just love me. I needed somebody to support me. You can be that for others because you've been through these challenges and these experiences. So, if you're embarking on this journey as a healer, an intuitive, or, you're expanding your reach in other ways, know that you're being gifted with different kinds of wisdom. Maybe it's a new pathway, maybe it's a new course, maybe it's a new idea or creative endeavor that you're going to be gifted with. Maybe you started it in another life and you were disempowered because of it, right? And so maybe you've been repeating that last year, and this is a time to really step into the magic and the awe and wonder in a safe, warm, loving, protective environment right now. I love that. So have faith. Everything's going to be okay. You're close to achieving your goal. And final message, overall message, or the theme for this new moon in Aries is outrageous openness. So perfect. It says, dear love, open me to your will. Release me from my attachments. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what's needed, and I'm open to receive. Wow. This has been absolutely amazing. If you chose pile 3, pile 1 and pile 2 go along with pile 3. It incredible how these readings just unfold and they weave into each other. I'm actually reading this book right now by Tasha Silver. Tasha Silver. It's called Outrageous Openness. I just started it, and it's talking about receiving the awe and wonder and magic to the universe. It's about activating your divine feminine essence, right? And so if, like I said, in another life that was disempowered, or you were made fun of or banished or burned at the stake, or you had some tragic life where that was taken advantage of, this may be the time for you to release that and step forward in empowerment. I'm seeing like the fire energy. I'm seeing the warrior god and goddess. I'm seeing the Joan of Arc energy, and we're not talking about the hustle. We're not talking about the grind. We're not talking about forcing something based on influence. We're talking about now activating our inspirational pull, right? That following the leads, following the demands, and becoming empowered. So we're healing our past lives through this lifetime, and God is saying, come to me and let's co-create this together. I mentioned this quote in reading number 2. I'm going to say it again here. Love has been something that has been a challenge for me. Self-love, and then love in romantic partnerships and friendships and family. I've had some deep core wounds that was connected to love, and I was searching unconsciously and unbeknownst to me to love outside of me for so many long years. And last year, 2020, gave me an opportunity to really explore self-love and fill myself up. And one of the quotes that I came across was by Rumi. And the quote is, I opened my arms to love, and love embraced me like a lover. And for me, it just hit me. It struck me, and it opened up. And I realized in that moment that I was searching for love outside of myself. And I just kept attracting wounded energy, my own wounded energy, over and over and over again. But I didn't know it. I didn't, you don't know what you know. You don't know what you don't know until you know. And then when you know, you do better, right? And so, last year I was in that place of outrageous openness to receive love. And I learned that I could access that type of love that I was searching for outside of me, sitting on my couch with the hats off, the hat of teacher and sister and daughter and friend and coworker and spiritual advisor. And I had learned how to access love without all those hats, and it's so full and so wonderful and so amazing and so magical. Now that doesn't mean I'm in that space all the time, but when I can see love itself as my lover, and it just comes in and gives me a big giant hug from behind, which is God, right? The essence of God. I've been working with this God energy, and I feel like God is a way of being. Maybe it's just not one entity. I think that we're all taught, but I'm kind of marinating with this idea of God being a way of living, a way of being. Jesus, right? This word, this vibration, this person is not just a one singular being. It is a way of being. It's a way of life. So I am God, right? I am Jesus. I am unconditional love. I am Shiva. I am Shakti. I am. I am that I am. It's a way of living. It's a way of being, right? And we can kind of step into the fullness of that. Then we remember that it's our divine birthright to live in abundance and power and really show the world the magic of being a miracle worker on this planet, inspiring others by living our best life. Wow. I loved this reading. I loved all of them. So those of you who chose pile 3, thank you so much for watching. If you want to stick around, I'm going to say my closing prayer. If you don't want to stick around for the closing prayer, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to do these readings and the new moon every month. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and you'll get a notification when I post a new one. If you liked this reading, give me a thumbs up. It just kind of gives me an idea that you're open to this and you like it and it's working for you. If it touched you in a certain way, feel free to share that in the comments below, or send me some emojis, or I don't know, some kind, happy, smiley faces or something. It's always nice for people to go into the comments and see. So let me close space thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that held space for us. I want to thank the goddesses that showed up and the angels that showed up throughout this reading, and I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. And so it is, friends. So thank you so much for watching. If I can be of service or you want to work up with me privately in some way, my information and my website is in the notes below. So thank you so much for watching. I love you. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine. Trust your intuition. And I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.